And with playing 60 cards, that is impressive.
Yeah, I guess strong duelists draw strong cards, and it's a Mulcharmy of choice.
That's fine.
You could drop a Fualos, you could drop another Purulea, but it looks like we'll do one and one.
Fine.
Wow. 2 Mulcharmies. That is really impactful. Obviously, drawing that in a 60-card strategy, the odds are less likely to be able to pair Mulcharmies, but he has now both Fualos and Purulea in effect. Now the question for William is, how many draws am I allowing my opponent to get? Because certainly he can just add to hand with Cool Tune Synchro, and then it's dependent on the other 4 cards in his hand. Is it possible that he has enough non-engine where he thinks he can play through his opponent already now being down 2 cards, eventually drawing to 4? Or does he feel like he needs to begin to conduct summons? The problem is that when Fualos is paired with Purulea, you're punished every which way, essentially. So if he's going to begin special summoning, he's going to at least 2 cards realistically, right? You could summon Cool Tune from your hand, that's going to be 1. From your extra deck, that's another. And now you're just back to parity with Steven, but that's only conducting 1 extra deck summon this turn. So it's going to be really interesting to see. Does he have enough non-engine? I see a copy of Pot of Desires in there. So I'm curious to see if that's his next action. Because if he's able to draw into enough non-engine, he might be able to pass this turn without conducting any summons. But he is here first going to activate Synchro Overtake.
Rico? I mean, RS.
Yeah.
To get Rico.
Now it's important to note, you can add to your hand. So this will reveal his game plan. Okay, so he is going to conduct summons from the deck. He is going to allow Steven to replace at least both of those Mulcharmies.
Synchro Overtake also just a 1 of now, so William having almost the same luck effectively as drawing those Mulcharmies, but while you can add the card to hand, you can use the clip and maybe Synchro Summon later. It does put him at a disadvantage for establishing his board. Now, he will at least be able to destroy a spell trap here or there or do something fun, but unless he has got a mix at the ready there, and I do not believe I saw it unless I'm... Oh, we are going to at least make the Track Maker give just 1 more card in exchange for trying to get some setup.
Yeah, I think this is probably the correct play just because you're able to get a Cool Tune Synchro out of this. And then you're able to use that Cool Tune Synchro in combination with the Track Maker on the following turn. And then you get to interrupt with the Track Maker effect, also put a new interruption on the field. So it makes sense. This point is, I think, the lowest amount, the least amount of summons that you can realistically make against the double Mulcharmy, where you're okay allowing Steven to replace both of those draws, and then you're willing to combat Track Maker plus Cool Tune Synchro, plus hand knowledge with Rotary, plus the knowledge that you have clip in hand.
That's pretty good, and let's take a look at the hand now. Young Amusement Mignon, another Mulcharmy. Of course, the Ragged Records to the right, so it's pretty difficult. Lacrima of the Crimson Tears. And finally, we've also got a pre-preparation to the right, so lots of power. You're going to have to be able to stop that. And Cool Tune can stop a few of those cards, but maybe not all of them.
Yeah, William's probably really pleased to see another Mulcharmy, right? That does sort of mitigate to some extent the fact that he's having to play with both Mulcharmies in effect, knowing that a 3rd Mulcharmy was drawn by Steven. Because now William, he gets to resolve his Pot of Desires. If he can draw some non-engine, he can combine his 2 Cool Tune Synchros with the clip in his hand, with maybe another piece of non-engine here, something like an Infinite Impermanence, Ghost Ogre that we already know he plays. And I think he'll be in reasonable shape without having to conduct another summon this turn. Looks like he might have a copy of Harmonia in his hand as well. Yeah, I do see a Harmonia. Unfortunately, another Pot of Desires, right? The classic Desires, draw Desires. But we're going to see now how Steven can navigate. He has 6 cards in hand, but effectively 5. He is going to utilize the Purulea. This does mitigate to some extent the clip in William's hand. William can obviously use the clip, but conducting a Synchro Summon without the clip in and of itself inherently being an interruption can be frustrating.
How many cards in hand?
Those players definitely shuffling through the cards in their hand, different ways, of course, between both of them, but they're just not really sure what they want to do. Obviously, when you're thinking of all the combo lines, you have a 60-card deck, I certainly can understand why Steven is a little unsure of where to start, but at the same time, William doing the same thing. How am I going to stay alive so I can make it to the next game?
So again, I'm not sure if played based on body language. Yeah, William was still considering if he wanted to use the clip in his hand. He also has the Harmonia in hand, but obviously that can't. The value of Harmonia without there being anything on field is not great. So the fact that that's specifically Purulea little bit more impactful than maybe my first inclination, just because there's multiple cards in William's hand that he does want to special summon. But Steven here is going to utilize the brand new Ragged Records of Rights. It's going to allow him now to search out a copy of Habakiri by revealing the fact that he is in fact playing Mitsurugi rituals in his deck.
Now, I think you have to reveal the Mitsurugi mirror because I don't think it's written on the Mitsurugi ritual, but he didn't have it in his deck. I think maybe there was just a little flipping through the cards there. But now we're going to activate Cool Tune Synchro. William going to go ahead and add and attempt to do something.
Add Q, and then I will synchro. Okay.
So William is prioritizing putting Zalon on the field over keeping that Trackmaker interaction.
Can I cut real quick?
Oh, yeah.
And now he's going to use Q, which is going to allow him to take a peek at the top of Steven's deck.
Let's see what we got. Ooh, an Illusion Gate. You might want to banish that.
Is that the alternate art of Triple Tactics Thrust?
It is the variant there, and I believe he was lucky enough to get a secret rare. Nice.
And then Q. Anything on risk? No.
I think Steven's in a pretty advantageous position, but we have seen Cool Tune carve a way out before. But we're going to go ahead and see the Habakiri revealed here. Do you stop it? Maybe do you chain something else? Habakiri is important. It
Chain Clip.
starts a lot. We are chaining Clip.
Chain Zeons and again the strike.
Yeah.
So we do have, as we anticipated, the use of Clip in hand. Now, that is going to...
Kind of reclip, but you're good.
Yeah, it's specials from hand. So you'll
special
draw.
from hand, right? So Steven
You are
is
gonna draw.
clarifying, right? William knew exactly what he was doing there. Checking to just verify that this is going to necessitate a special summon from hand. Now the question is, what will William then do with that Clip? It looks like he has a Rotary or Rico in his hands. Hard to tell that very top card. We knew he had Harmonia from the previous turn that we saw. There's a Pot of Desires, which obviously isn't going to do anything right now, and he has one card in there that I can't quite make out. It does look like it's another monster, so it might be a tuner that he can combine with that Clip. A little smirk there from William. Maybe some of the levels aren't just lining up with exactly what he wants.
It's certainly been a rough go for him, but it looks like we are going to go ahead and synchro summon into what I believe will be Cool Tune RS.
Yep, that was a Rico, so we'll be able to go 2+5. Now Clip is going to rip from the extra deck.
Does it matter in a 60-card deck? I guess we'll find out. So
I mean, I'd argue that one of the elements of running a 60-card deck is that you're playing so many engines, you probably have a fair amount of one-ofs. I mean, I don't want to spoil it, but they might be only one-ofs in
yeah,
Steven's
I don't
extra
think you're running
deck.
two of that, that's for sure. So Reaper is now offline. Sorry, Cyber's friend, but powerful boost there from the Cool Tune RS and just a single target negate.
And we know he has that second Cool Tune Synchro set. It is public knowledge, though. I've commented on this weekend that it's the unknown Cool Tune Synchro that seemingly has made the Cool Tune player win out, but this is a known.
Oof. I gotta use that negate, so we are paying half our life points, but not going to destroy all those monsters.
Finishing.
So Steven, again with that copy of Illusion Gate. He's now going to follow up with pre-preparation of rights.
So let's see if we can go ahead and grab the right ritual. It's always interesting to see if the 60-card duelist will pick the whole deck up. I'm one of those who grabs the whole stack. But speaking of which, we do have a slow play minor warning for William, which means, see that clock? See at the top, look at the center of the screen, go up. 25 minutes and 22 seconds. It's more like it's 28 minutes, but those 3 minutes will be added when it hits 0. So don't panic if it gets really close.
And now we have the Mitsurugi mirror that's been added with the Futsu.
That's fine.
I think it's ritual time.
So he's now going to tribute the Futsu from his hand and allow him to special summon back from the graveyard Habakiri.
Effect of Futsu.
So Nubatama and the Mitsurugi going to go ahead and add a card since it was tributed.
And then he'll be able to special summon back from the graveyard. He'll then have the opportunity to either conduct a Link Summon, at least with those 2 pieces of material, or potentially overlay. I haven't looked enough at his deck list to see if he has anything that he would overlay into.
Well, it's very common to use the Zombie Vampire, just because, you know, 2 level 8s, you love to see the graveyard, but I don't know if you want to put anything further in the graveyard against a Cool Tune player when they've got RS.
There's also not as much utility to that when the format is the way it is. I say that because if Yummy was the most popular deck, you could bridge your zombie vampire into the Yummy package just because you'd also have the added benefit of your opponent playing those cards. You don't get that value out of Cool Tune. We do see here that William, though, is going to use the Harmonia, which under Purulia will net Steven another draw. So, you know, typically you don't want to have 3 Mulcharmies in your hand, but Steven has been able to draw with all of the copies because now this is the second Purulia draw that he's going to get on his turn.
Which is insane because that's just another peek into the 60-card strategy, another starter, another card to keep going. And while we were talking about value, usually for Draw Ceremony is incredible value, but that kind of evens it out when it's against the Mulcharmy Purulia.
Put him on today.
William still smiles, though, you know, despite being in a not so disadvantageous position now.
Triggers.
But I think we're going to use the Malong in order to return Lacrima back to the hand.
And now the Lacrima effect will resolve, which will allow him to send out a copy of Fiendsmith Engraver
Targeting the Lacrima.
along that was sent to the graveyard to fulfill Harmonia's effect. Will bounce that Lacrima back to hand. So that will cut him off from getting further into his Fiendsmith engine. Really funny to look at Steven's graveyard. The bottom is just 3 Mulcharmies.
Activate.
Here we have a copy of Mitsurugi Prayers. He's not going to tribute, so he's only going to get 1 of the effects.
Sure.
And he's going to go into the graveyard, special summoning back out Habakiri.
Taking the 800 life points there, but restores at least one of the 3 sacred names of this deck back to the field.
Effect special summon from deck.
Now we'll go ahead and tribute it off just like that.
Yep, so he did the prayers basically to establish the fodder to conduct a ritual summon.
And I knew who's coming. We haven't seen him in a bit, but it'd be so nice to have a card that tried to destroy all of your opponent's monsters. Here it is. Ame no Murakuma no Mitsurugi. On summon, destroy. Let's see how William reacts.
Chain link to Murakuma.
Only 1 card in hand, too, even if you use the Mitsurugi negate. Kind of painful, so I guess he is depending on that final card and then, being able to discard 1 card to ensure it actually resolves.
Yeah, it's rough there for William just because the Illusion Gate had baited out as RS. So now Steven has been able to utilize 2 differing effects this turn, this one obviously being able to resolve. And we know one of the cards in William's hand is a Pot of Desires. We know he has a Cool Tune Synchro set.
Oh, it was 2 cards. Actually, when I had them pulled together, I did not notice that from the white sleeve. So he's not as bad a situation as I thought he might be. But it looks like we're just going to attack for 32 and 24 here. So William's life points remain.
All right, William's probably pretty pleased that Steven just went to the battle phase because that does mean he's going to be able to start his turn and utilize that additional Pot of Desires. So although typically speaking you don't want to draw Desires off of Desires, he might need to rely on that Desires to give him enough pieces of his engine to try and get back into this duel.
I don't know if production is going to cue the comeback music, but William definitely at least has a chance here.
Stand by.
Yeah, so one of the parts about activating this Desires is, you know, he needs engine, and obviously he's already utilized 1 Desire, so he's making a double check here. What exactly do I have left? Do I start with Desires? Do I have another normal summon, maybe perhaps of a Cool Tune, in order to search one from
Also a mix effect.
the graveyard if it's already there, or if there's a name in the deck that you absolutely need? So the other card in his hand was Mix, so that was the 1 card that I wasn't able to really make out on the previous turn. So
Not a bad card to make out of this duel, though, as Mix hit the field, trying to activate the effect, think about what we're going to search. You're right that there's barely anything left in there, so I think the correct strategy is this, to start things off to kind of pick out what you can from the deck, and then go ahead and use the Pot of Desires to try to push it over the edge. But he has his back to the wall, 2,400 life points, and down a game. If William doesn't make it, well, he is not going to have a 6-1 record. He's going to have a 6-2 record.
he ultimately ended up getting from the graveyard queue, leaving the targets in the deck.
Activate prayers.
That makes sense here now that he's activated Cool Tune Synchro. We see on Steven's side of the field, though, the activation of his Mitsurugi Prayers. And now he's tributing off the Mirakumo. Obviously, one of the themes that we've seen this weekend is you want to clear the Cool Tune names when you have the opportunity to do so, whether that's in open game state or whether it's in another situation. Here, we are seeing the activation of that Mitsurugi Prayers and tributing off the Mirakumo. That's going to put, looks like Kusanagi onto the field. Now what William here will be able to do is add Rotary.
And it does look like, as we look through William's deck, you get a little peek there, there is a lot of monster card effect borders. So it's not like he's completely starved. Maybe that Pot of Desires will be safe.
Chainlink 2 Kusanagi, target prayers. Chainlink 3 Mirror.
Yep, so now we've got several Chainlinks. So Mirror is going to activate. The Prayers is going to be added back because of the Kusanagi. And then the Mirakumo hits the field again. That's going to add Saji to hand. Now this will now activate the Mirakumo if he wants to. Have to imagine.
On-summon effective Mirakumo.
Yeah, so as I was commenting on, you want to just clear the Cool Tune monsters when you have an opportunity to do so before there's that open game state where William's able to conduct a Synchro Summon.
Rotary of Yugioh.
So Rotary to Q, I imagine Q will be the normal summon we're trying to push here.
Chain Mirakumo.
So we are going to discard, perhaps?
I have to imagine.
No response. Anything else?
Oh, you're good.
Oh, he's going to
Okay,
get rid of the
I'll
Pot of
discard.
Desires. Just going to leave all those
summon
monsters in
Q.
the deck and not
Q
try
effect.
to pull the trigger and draw 2 cards at the expense of losing 10 from the deck.
I think at this point, because he's already gone through part of his engine, he just can't afford to do so. And he might assume that that Purge can help him maybe counteract one of the plays that Steven makes. Especially because it's a naturally, freshly drawn Purge. It's a Purge that would be one that would be impossible to read, right? Steven would have eliminated the likelihood of that being in his hand
Like
based on what he did on the previous turn. So maybe there's a possibility here. The Q bringing back Zalon. Obviously now he can then conduct the Synchro Summon with the Rotary in his hand. This is going to put Trackmaker on the field, I have to imagine.
Summon Trackmaker.
And you're right, Trackmaker is back.
One
It'll be
Trackmaker.
Chainlink 1, Chainlink 2, Rotary.
2Q, 3 Rotary.
No, 2Q, 3 Rotary. Okay, so bearing the Q effects. But we're going to take a look at that hand. So, just various pieces of engine, no pieces of interaction here. So maybe this will be helpful for William after all as he continues his main phase.
So it looks like JJ Cooltoon was his only spell left in the deck. I have to imagine then Pot of Desires.
Yeah, we're going to banish that.
Yeah, banished a copy of Cooltoon Synchro. Oh, maybe he has it there too. It's hard to tell when a player is going through their deck like that exactly what's remaining. I think there's one spell left in Williams' deck. Maybe it is the additional copy of Cooltoon Synchro, but he's electing to go with JJ Cooltoon.
I think I'll just search for
It
it.
looks like an... Oh, I couldn't tell either.
Yeah,
I keep like trying to look at... Guess the card, Reality Edition.
But we know he ended the first turn with 2 copies. He did activate Pot of Desires on his opening turn, though, so we don't often get a good look at the banished face down pile, so it's very plausible that the 3rd copy is there. But nevertheless, he is going to resolve his Trackmaker. He's going to resolve his Rotary. He's going to add JJ Cooltoon and it looked like a copy of Rico to his hand. He'll now activate that copy of JJ Cooltoon that he freshly searched. This will allow him to conduct an additional normal summon.
So it wasn't the Rotary negated with Merle for the additional, or are you doing it with that? Okay, that's fine. Yeah,
the Rotary was not negated because you discarded. Yeah.
I discard Desires.
Oh, okay.
So I resolve the normal.
You're good. Yeah.
My first
It's
normal
only been a long turn,
No,
so I
yeah,
can get
yeah,
lost
sorry
in
about
it too. But yeah, no worries here.
And now he's going to special summon back out of the graveyard.
William seems determined. A lot of duelists in this position might be sweating, but for him, it just looks like another day at work. We're going to add back the Cooltoon mix here from the graveyard. Doesn't seem like we have anything in the open game state. We know that those cards don't do anything in Steven's hand because we got to peek at it. We'll bring out Loudness. We're in attack mode because it is going to be very large.
No.
He also has his Trackmaker and his Rico to resolve in the aftermath of this.
So he's got to decide, do we want attack mode or defense mode? 3300 is good while you have the JJ Cooltoon field spell, but instead it's in defense position.
Play, that is time of the round. If you have not completed your match, that result is a double loss.
Chainlink 1 mix, Chainlink 2 trackmaker.
So it'll be Chainlink 1 mix, Chainlink 2 track maker. Continues.
The mix was in his hand, yeah. The Rico on the field, so he'll be able to destroy and bounce back.
Man.
No response.
So destroying Kusanagi
It doesn't activate, does it?
No, it doesn't.
wasn't tributed. But it went to the graveyard all the same as William continues to peruse the pile from Steven. I think I kind of see where he's going, just trying to pick apart as much as he can, maybe get to a B2B and maybe in the battle phase try to attack twice. But you got to remember that B2B 3,200 minus 800 from the Ami no Habekiri Mitsurugi is actually 2,400. So it would be kind of small. They'd have to crash into each other unless he's got some other way out.
Yeah, it's tough. The body language from here from William isn't conveying a whole lot of confidence. He's got that purge in hand. He's now going to tribute off the loudness war. Wow, okay.
Oh, wow, that's huge.
So he's going to go here into a copy of Mix. Mix has already utilized its Synchro Summon
Negates and destroys.
effect
Correct.
Okay.
by destroying. So this is really only being used either to add back from the graveyard if he hasn't already done so. No, maybe he's already done so, yeah. So he's going into a level 5.
Remix.
We
And now
remixed
this
this
is
time.
Remix.
Activate Rico, target the background.
Oh, that's fine.
And then Rico's now going to go after the Ragged Rights.
It's actually important because if a ritual monster leaves this field, then you could get that Ragged Records of Rights back, which could
set
allow
one.
something, but unfortunately actually not, because the Mitsurugi Mirror is banished. Most Mitsurugi duels are only running one copy of that card. So this might be William's time to shine, but there's only 12 minutes and 48 seconds left. Remember, we do have that 3-minute time extension from the slow play warning to William. But even with 15 minutes at this level of play, he's going to have to decisively win this duel and the next.
Yeah, this is rough because he's going to have the ability to use Remix that could proc Steven to use his Marakuma. And then obviously there's the Zalon on the field.
Normal summon?
But I think
effect?
Steven has so much going on in his hand right now that it's going to be difficult for William to fight through this.
So take a look at the graveyard there in response to that normal summon of Lacrima the Crimson Tears. Another Fiendsmith friend enters the fray. Gonna go and send Fiendsmith Engraver from the deck to the graveyard.
Hang on, Rez.
Yep.
I think you probably could play through this. You think about all those different engine pieces. While there were no points of interaction that Steven had to stop William, he does kind of have all gas except maybe the pre-preparation to the right. So maybe it's just his duel to claim victory on.
He's going to turn his Lacrima into a Requiem. So William here could utilize the copy of Purge that he has set.
And it's not like he is completely devoid of interactions. We're actually showing about 5 or so here.
I understand. I'm probably going to get... I didn't realize I had a... I just saw it right now. I have an engraver.
You know,
I understand if that's a warning.
you don't have a target?
No legal target, no. I just realized I had that, yeah. Okay. Sorry. Yeah.
So procedural error minor warning,
yes, yeah.
Activating an illegal activation there
sorry about
because you don't really have
Okay.
anybody to go grab.
Good here?
Yeah, you're good.
But we are good here, so let's go ahead and take a look at the extra deck. A lot of different directions you can go. Maybe you want to go into big, powerful Fiendsmith cards there.
See, unfortunately, though, without that additional engraver, that might stymie exactly what he was planning on doing, because now he won't be able to establish the 2 level 6s on the field. So
Well, let's see what we're doing. Link it off. And we're going into Fiendsmith sequence. So maybe we'll fuse out of the graveyard, get the engraver back into the deck, although it's too late to get something done now. But now we're actually seeing the tribute there. Since Fiendsmith sequence is an ignition effect, this is just the right timing for William to go ahead and bring back his monsters, maybe Synchro Summon, and then destroy that Fiendsmith sequence before it activates its powerful fusion effect.
So I'm back.
So it looks like he's going to put Mix on the field and then decided against it.
So I'm back Mix, I back Rico, and then I'll
Can't see me on screen, but I'm on the edge of my seat.
Summon.
Very back and
RS.
forth, so not sure who's going to make it as
activate
Platoon
Mix
RS
effect.
hits the field. Mix's effect is activated by
targeting
William. Think you have to go for the sequence? Or are you going to get rid of No, we'll just get rid of the sequence.
I will.
Chain Murakumo, then Zelen's just the frame.
Chain Murakumo.
Chain Zelen?
Chain Zeon.
Yeah, there we go. Negate,
That's fair,
destroy.
though. 'Cause that gets rid of William's on-field face-up piece of interaction. William might actually have something here, or Steven might actually have, yeah, he has
Wow.
prayers.
Chain.
This is now going to
RS.
the RS effect on the prayers.
Vanishing.
But you are using up all of the last of William's defenses. So for Steven,
Moloch.
it's kind of an even trade, right?
Yeah, targeted not to negate.
So
Last thing he has is that
and
face-down
then the
purge,
stars.
though, so
And then.
kind of clears the whole field at the end of all this.
Effect of Murakumo.
There's the Dominus
And
Purge.
there's the purge on the Mirakumo. So now William is fresh out of interaction.
Okay.
Just cards on the field.
Let's go.
See what's going on the left side, because the right side might as well be blank. But we are going to bring back Fiendsmith Engraver.
Sure.
Putting
Turn
the
Fiendsmith
sequence back.
Yeah.
Curious to see what he does now.
Effect of Requiem.
Sure.
Attaches the Requiem.
Just going to throw Requiem at him.
I will go effect.
It's kind of difficult. You've only got one monster you can get rid of with this effect. And no cards in hand for William, so looks like we'll get rid of this Aelin.
So now Engraver staring at RS.
And then I will.
And RS is so gigantic, technically,
Let's go
from
to
all the
game
tuners
day.
in the grave. Oh, but he concedes.
Wow.
We've only got 8 minutes left, burning up a lot of the time on the clock there and still not able to find a way out. So, William actually fighting his way all the way
Don't forget
back.
this.
Okay, yeah.
Still very steely, though. This is what he looks like when he's winning. This is what he looks like when he's from behind.
I'm impressed there. William really did navigate that
Oh, yeah.
quite effectively. It's one of the things about these 60-card engine-based strategies is sometimes when you've used pieces of each engine, you find yourself with a hand of starters for each engine having already exhausted said engine. So you might have 4 or 5 cards in hand, which is what was the case there with Steven, but he was only able to activate a few of them there.
Kind of an interesting reference, but you know, sometimes when a smaller fighter fights a bigger opponent, he isn't going to beat him down, but it could exhaust him, make him run out of breath, and that's exactly what William did to Steven there. Because you're right, you know, a lot of those cards, they're nice, but when they don't rub together, you don't get any combos out of them. So now we've got just a little bit of time left. Steven will have a chance to go first here, so we get very established. So the side decking from William is going to be so important, and he is going to have to quickly and decisively end this duel. But that does mean, despite the fact that for the most of this match, William has been on the back leg, might be his time to shine. He might be advancing.
Another thing to note, William resisted the urge of activating that Pot of Desires. I think it's conceivable that many duelists looking at the situation there in the middle of game 2 may have thought, oh, I need the 2 draws. I'll just risk whatever the cards are left in my deck at the end of this. But no, William said, I'm going to hold up. I think I can navigate this. I'm actually going to use it as a discard. I'm going to keep my Purge. I'm going to use my Purge on Steven's turn. And he navigated that last turn and a half there about as flawlessly as possible. He really needed to do really precisely that in order to survive, establish multiple forms of interaction on Steven's turn, and exhaust all of the remaining pieces of Steven's engine.
Great work, great work. Man, you can definitely see the difference in the deck sizes there between 40 and 60 cards. But, you know, maybe he's got the heart of the underdog here. Still is a decent amount of time, too. There is a version of this where Steven just doesn't draw enough, or the fact that William's entire deck is laden with interactions, is able to just stop 1 or 2 combo lines, and maybe that's all she wrote. William's able to seal. So nobody knows what's going to happen here as we go to our game 3. This is wild.
Plus, there is the additional 3 minutes, as you commented on
That's
earlier,
right.
that will be applied due to the slow play warning. So whatever the clock says, once we return back to the over-the-table shot, do consider an additional 3 minutes as well.
All right, 5:40 on the clock, plus 3, which will be added at 0.
All right, good luck, man.
About 8.5 minutes is not bad, but for a 60-card strategy, sometimes they could burn the clock just getting set up. So let's see what Steven does and how fast, if he's stopped, or if he just keeps going. Oh, that's good, by the way, starting off with the one of.
Oh, right here.
So it looks like William has 4 pieces of hand interaction. He's got Ghost Spell, 2 copies of Effect Veiler, and Harmonia. So Steven is going to need to play through a
okay.
whole lot of interaction
Yes.
here from William's side of the table.
Activate.
Yes.
But he's allowing him to go through the really classic Horner drones into Kagari. Kagari add back Horner drones, activate Horner drones. And now we see Cupsy Yummy hit the board. Yummy is going to combine with that Kagari. That's going to allow him to get into his
Cupsy.
extra deck, summon Cupsy.
That's good.
Cupsy's now going to allow him to add to hand.
Always nice to have Yummy on the feature match stage because you get that blown up art. Watching the poor
Lollipo.
Yummy statue just smiling there. But yep, we're adding Lollipo.
Cookie.
You need to discard a card.
I think it's actually Cookie in the graveyard. It's Cuppy that he
And
added to
then,
hand. My
special.
apologies.
Yes, that's right. That's right. We went from Cookie
Cookie
to Cupsy
to
Yummy
Cupsy,
Way.
yeah.
Lollipo, we discarded, and we also added the Cupsy Yummy, which we have just special summoned. We're all good.
Sometimes the art, especially when they're playing fast, difficult to detect. But here we see William utilize the first copy of Effect Veiler that we knew that he had.
How many cards in?
3.
3 cards in hand. Maybe Ghost Spell and Haunted Mansion here. It's a big monster, though. But it looks like we're going to go ahead and let that go.
So he's got 3 different Cupsy, Cookie, and Lollipo on the field. 3 different names. He's going to turn the token into Link Karibo. Kind of serving as a stand-in for Yummy Snatchy here.
Another quote-unquote Link Row summon. Now we get into our Lollipo Yummy Way, which will allow us to bring back some monsters from the graveyard. But we're going to stop that? No, also not going to stymie it at all.
You have to summon 2 with Lollipo. The effect on when it's summoned has to summon 2.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he has no 2 to summon.
All right. I think I just have Cookie.
It has to summon 2
yeah.
though. Yeah,
Okay.
he only has 1.
Okay.
Legal activation,
Yeah.
procedural reminder. As long as you haven't done that previously in the tournament, that's just fine. But
A
now
slight
we'll go.
misstep there, but he is going to continue forward, putting Snatchy onto the field.
May not matter in the end, right?
that's good.
Especially with the 60-card strategy that keeps on going. Sometimes you can lose 1 point of card advantage to yourself. But unfortunately, Steven won't get to utilize all those card effects. But let's see what we get next as we reach into the deck.
And I think in many ways this is just reflective of the fact that the clock is ticking. You know, if this was a little bit earlier in the round, I don't think Steven would have made that misstep, but it's just kind of the reality that sometimes when the clock is ticking and you start to play a little bit faster, a decision point that was easy to make earlier
Chain.
suddenly becomes difficult. We've all been there.
We have, and remember too, this is round 8 of 9, and
Good.
if Steven was here yesterday, I mean, this again is day 2 of
I will
NAWCQ
reveal-
weekend, not including
you're
whatever his
good.
travel time may be.
I'll reveal
So here comes Harmonium,
on and
Malong, and these friends.
special sending the Malon, and I will destroy the Lollipo.
So Lollipo's going to get destroyed.
New chain link.
Yep.
Activate Malon.
Send back the Lollipo,
wow.
yeah. So now he's just sticking him with Reproductosaurus.
Special. Oh, wait. yeah.
Normal.
Yeah.
Or
I don't. I started with I'm tripping.
So certainly feel the pressure there.
And here's that Mitsurugi praise. That's
Oh,
where
there's the Ghost Spell. Good stuff.
Yeah.
About a minute, 40 seconds left before that 3-minute time extension kicks in. I mean, there really is a chance that William makes it, just sort of scrapes
You did
by
not.
in the last episode.
No. You start with token. Yeah.
No, that's right.
You're
Okay.
good.
Normal summon.
Sure.
Here's a normal summon.
Requiem. Requiem.
It's not still a light fiend.
Is this guy's effect?
Yeah,
He
but I
makes-
bounced it.
No, but he makes whatever he points to a fiend. Yeah. It makes whatever he points to a fiend.
Wait.
Oh, it's an interesting clarification. Does it
Sometimes-
make the zone permanently Light Fiend?
Let's take a little look at Reprodocus here.
I'm not sure I've ever seen that matter.
Well, I mean, it matters when a trip to Japan is on the line.
But I've just, typically you see that monster.
It just
linked
never
away.
comes up, yeah.
Right into the Fiendsmith package. What if you establish a second monster in that same zone?
So, clear a monster type. All face-up monsters this card points to become that type until the end of the turn. Doesn't say currently, but doesn't say. That's a very interesting ruling question that I don't think I've come up. Same thing with this. Declare one attribute. All face-up monsters this card points to become that attribute till the end of turn. While we're answering that question, it's really important to note that the timer is paused. So in lieu of giving a time extension, we're just going to freeze play till we find the answer here. A little bit of a head scratcher, but don't worry. The judges certainly are not judging in a vacuum. And, well, we'll see what happens. But, wow. This is duel or die, right? This is the moment, depending on this ruling, depending on William or Steven's understanding of this card being the correct interpretation of the effect text. This duel goes either way.
Again, one of the concessions you make when you play a 60-card based strategy with so many engines is your extra deck. I mean, I've talked about many concessions, but may not have a lot of utility within it just because you have to slot so many engine requirements. So if he's unable to turn this Lollipo into Requiem, I'm not sure what his Reproductosaurus plus a Lollipo is really going to be able to do. So Reproductus being a level 2, yeah, I just don't see anything.
It's going to be difficult. I was curious at the time why William hadn't just bounced the Reproductus, because of course you get that extra value since it's a Link 2 monster. It feels like you're getting rid of a high investment card there. But let's see what the ruling is here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow, so it
works.
It works.
Effect directly.
It's good. Okay. Well, I learned something today, that's for sure. But we do go ahead and tribute Fiendsmith Requiem. I hear a little bit of jeers in the crowd there as they are excited to see somebody try to scrape this out in the last second. What kind of field's being established? Yeah.
Is that Steven did it and was confident. He's like, no, this is how it works. I'm really curious if you were to win this match, if Steven or Jackie, who conducts the interview at the conclusion of this, if you were to happen to win, if you would be asked directly, had that ever happened to you before?
Yeah.
Is this something that came to you in the moment, or did you know this?
Well, I guess we'll have to hear from the winner's interview from either of these two duelists, because it is quite, but we won't have a winner's interview if it goes to a double loss. So as we have these 13 seconds left on the clock, again, there'll be a time extension shortly. But this is riveting.
You know, Steven just saw that the fact that William had another copy of Effect Veiler, you could see the quick facial expression of, wow, really? A fourth piece of interaction? Now the SP is going to banish for Harmonia. William will now draw. I know he has a Cool Tune Synchro in his hand.
All right.
Steven has an Infinite Impermanence set. Can William, with exactly 3 minutes, navigate this turn to victory?
Yeah, that's fine.
Looks like the Cool Tune Synchro will resolve. Clock is ticking again.
Adding.
Gonna go ahead and quickly add.
Yeah, it's Q.
Well, if you're gonna make your Q, you have got to have some pristine and quick technical play. So we will go ahead and add the Q there.
Synchro summons Q. This is gonna lead Steven to activate his Infinite Impermanence.
Well, the SP Little Knight is here too. Now there is a version of this where somebody could conceive the second. Cheers from the crowd as the Infinite Impermanence slows down Q to a halt.
Is there a tuner in William's hand? Is there an extender in William's hand? That's really the question right now.
There are.
Thinking to the Imperm.
Yeah.
Oh, he hasn't even accepted the
Infinite
Impermanence.
Oh, you said Shard?
Yeah, thinking. Chain.
So we'll use the Cool Tune Synchro, but that could just mean the SP Little Knight
banishes the Q, but now it's going to resolve.
It is going to resolve.
Add Rotary, and then resolve Q.
And then resolving the Q. Okay, so we get the Rico effect. This isn't too bad, but with 8,000 life points, how are you going to clear it out?
It's going to be a B2B line. Can he get to B2B plus another tuner fast enough?
Yeah.
Looks like he can so far. No response, no response. As Mix resolves.
Add Rico.
That's another Rico. Maybe to just go ahead and get rid of that spell and trap as we synchro it off as material, whether from the hand to the field.
It's just always the second Cool Tune Synchro. It's just been the theme of the weekend.
These two.
Has a lot of viability to it, the same way that Forbidden Droplet does, while still being an engine piece all its own. We are destroying the face down. The face down was just a ritual.
Baker.
Now we're into track
Baker 1, Rotary 2. Rotary.
Can he Rotary if I don't have hand?
Because he's not using that Rotary effect, he's using the Graveyard effect.
Okay.
So let's keep it moving.
Yeah.
He'll be putting back
Shuffle it back to
the Engraver.
1 minute on the clock. Can the duelist do it? Brain has to fire at 2,000 IQ on all cylinders, grabbing the Cool Tune Q.
Use Q
Now
plus
combining
Maker,
Q plus
Xeon.
Maker into Zalon.
Q affect the stack the top 2?
All right, here we go, the top 2. I don't know if it's worth it. Let's go ahead and just banish it real fast. Keep it.
Obvious.
30 seconds on the clock. You could still technically make it.
Do you have any tuners?
Oh, don't ask for the tuners. There's only 30 seconds on
I
the
have
clock.
10.
Just attack with these
This
two and
is-
pass.
This is 47. This is
Oh, is it game?
47. This is a game.
Oh, okay, never mind.
Yeah, 'cause
Count
40
the tuners.
This is
Never
47.
mind.
and
Count the
then
tuners.
20
Count the tuners.
It's okay, Joe.
Sorry,
We can
that's
count.
75. Unless you have any tuners.
He functionally,
That's 75.
with a
Yeah.
droplet on the top of his deck,
Okay,
had
good.
no meaningful
Oh,
thing
but he
to
only
do.
has 7,500 life points there. 9, 8, 7. I don't know if this is synced up to the
Oh,
clock
he
of the
has.
judges. Oh, but
he
he's
has
got the
Lacrima.
Every
Lacrima.
time. Yeah.
And, yeah.
You don't shuffle.
I shuffled with Lacrima.
Well,
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
time
yeah,
out,
I shuffled with
friends.
Lacrima.
I think that may be the end of our duel.
Yeah.
Now, the judges are going to have a slightly different sync clock than maybe the one we have on screen, so it is okay, but we'll see exactly how synced up it is. And it looks like both players taking their cards. I think we have a double loss, but both of these
You had,
duelists
Dylan,
fought
and what else?
so hard. Now we'll hear the side. I'm going to quiet down, though, to hear them. And all we're hearing is sighs. The banter dies down.
Yeah, it's rough. I mean, these duelists had a very valiant effort on both sides of the table. It's very back and forth at points of that match. It's really close there, too, at the end. You know, the counting of the tuner monsters, obviously it was important to note that it was actually game.
But it wasn't, though, and even then you were still able to go ahead and bring that back. Wow, just a squeaker of a match again. You have to wonder what could have been done differently. Maybe if Steven could see it a little earlier. Remember, he had that end of game 2. He was still trying, and he realized that was the brick wall. Maybe he would have had a chance for a little bit more time if he called it in earlier.
Maybe if he tried to go after the Lacrima in the graveyard with the Rotary, he could have done something to deal with whatever Lacrima would put onto the field, still in main phase 1, and then been able to do a battle phase with a totally clear field. I'd have to go back and actually look at the exact complexion of the game there at the end. But again, both of these duels were playing rapid fire with only about 8.5 minutes remaining on the clock for their third game. So, you know, we have the ability from hindsight, but also from the aerial view, seeing both players' hands, of making these comments. You know, in the moment itself, both of these duels were playing basically as fast as they possibly can. Unfortunately, they did ultimately have that double loss, but they were trying to avoid it.
Well, I think it shows you that both of those decks are very viable, so if either of them end up making to our top cut when it's untimed, then obviously they can go the distance and that's fine. But in the Swiss rounds, you really have to play not just the format, not just the rules, but also the clock. So, gotta hate to see it, unfortunately, but at the same time, you're right. Valiant effort, great gameplay. William really running it all the way back. There was a point, you know, I'd say about like at the 20-minute mark, the 30-minute mark, etc. I didn't think William could fight that hard and bring it all the way back, but he really did, so great showing from him.
Yeah, I thought game 2 was actually going to go in Steven's favor. Also in this match, we learned that very fascinating reproductus effect and the nature of which that ruling can occur, where even if the monster that initially was being pointed to leaves the field, if another monster were to find its way into that zone, it also could apply that same effect by becoming, in this case, a fodder for a Fiendsmith summon.
Yeah, it was funny that Steven, or excuse me, not Steven, but William said currently, but currently is a card text word that appears on cards. Currently wasn't written anywhere on that card text.
I wonder if there's anything you can do where you just constantly summon something to that zone in a specific
interesting.
type and then move it to, like, conduct a synchro summon or, you know, a summon that's not a link, and then you just go back to that zone. I mean, based on the way that was ruled in the previous round, it opens up a complete line of play that I never considered before.
Yeah, I wonder if all of a sudden we'll call it like the Steven combo or something like that, because man, just really interesting stuff that you could do. I can't think of a use case, but I'm sure somebody's laughing it out now as I speak, so I can't wait to see the combo videos later.
Forward to it.
Yeah. Wow, though, what a match. It almost just clears the brain. But speaking of clearing the brain, why don't we change things up? Talk with one of our prior champions. You want to hear from him?
I absolutely do.
Let's throw it to Aditya Darab.
What's up, everybody? I'm here with Aditya Darab to break down pretty iconic play from one of your recent YCSs. You were in YCS Pittsburgh last year, not too long ago, and there was something very iconic that you did that not many duelists are willing to do, and we got you here to break it down for us. So talk to me about your top 4 feature match, I believe it was?
Yeah. So the game specifically I'm going to review is the top 4 game 3. So a little bit of context before we delve into this. My opponent in top 4, I had already played him round 11 or 12 of Swiss, I believe.
Okay.
And this is at a point that I was undefeated in the tournament, and this ended up being my only loss during Swiss. For one of the reasons being that going into game 3, I had the option to choose going first or second. Now in Swiss, I had the idea that in the Draco Tail mirror, it would be a good idea to essentially put my opponent first, because my idea is that they would have a lot of Charmies in their deck and just draw worse cards. So I ended up doing that in Swiss. I sent my opponent first. He ended up just full comboing me. Didn't draw any Charmies. So
sometimes that happens.
yeah.
But the
I
thought
lost
process
again.
was there, right? Like sometimes you can try and like mess up your opponent, right?
And especially like in a scenario like that where I'm already guaranteed into top cut, it was like a good time to kind of try to experiment a little bit.
Sure.
Now, fast forward into top 4, we're in the same scenario. Going to game 3, I have choice
Okay.
to go first or second. Now, the first thought that comes into my head is whether or not I should do the put my opponent first strategy again. Obviously, it didn't work in Swiss, so I was a little bit hesitant on the fact. But then I got to thinking that this is a guy I already